They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop.
One thing I want to caution against, Sean, is exactly what happened in June. What I expect is that Donald Trump will once again run circles around Kamala Harris, just as he did with Joe Biden in that last debate. The question is that going to be good for us in winning this election or not? Because last time around, it was the catalyst for something drastic happening afterwards.
There's a flood coming. All the rhinos are trying to get on the ark. November 5th is just 2 months away. And all the rhinos, George W. Bush included, Dick Cheney, Adam Kreisinger, Liz Cheney, they're trying to get on there as fast as they can before they drown. This article comes from the Daily Mail. George W. Bush has come out in an indirect support of Kamala Harris. He has not endorsed Donald Trump. He voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So if you think that he was going to publicly come out and support Donald Trump, you're crazy. But the Democrat Party, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Hussein Obama, they're calling in all the favors they can get. Now, the last one was Dick Cheney. For the better part of 20 years, the Democrat Party has called Dick Cheney a war criminal. They've also called George W. Bush a war criminal. But now they are vying for his support, vying for his endorsement. And I think it's ironic. I think it's crazy for anyone not to think this is going to happen. Donald Trump has came out and really shook up the political world by not being a partisan hack. Many of you will say he was a Democrat. Many of you will say he's a hardcore Republican. I don't believe that. I think Donald Trump is just a patriot. And if there was a patriot party, I think that's what he would be part of. I think the MAGA movement, the Make America Great Again movement, has overtaken Republican Party politics. And many of the Republican Party hacks like Dick Cheney and now George W. Bush are finding somewhere else to go. And I could give you a lot of places for them to go. But they're all trying to get on the big boat before it sinks, before the water starts rising. And this article details it all. Former President George Bush has made an announcement about the 2024 election. He's taking a less than prominent stance than his vice president, the war criminal, Dick Cheney. Bush, a Republican who served from 2001 to 2009, said in a statement on Saturday he had no plans to make an endorsement refusing to back Donald Trump. George W. voted for Hillary Clinton. We all know this. We all know this. The last time he endorsed a GOP candidate was Mitt Romney. Let that sink in. The last time he endorsed a GOP candidate, Mitt Romney. I don't even believe he endorsed John McCain, which all of you that worship at the house of McCain, let that sink in. This is George. Now he just does like speakings and paintings and goes to parties with the Obamas. The 2024 election is heating up. The polls are coming out and Kamala's tanking. The Hollywood elite, the rhinos that helped Kamala at the DNC convention and came out and worshiped her, that is wearing off. So what is next? What is next? But there's multiple polls now showing that Donald Trump is taking a lead in this election. And I don't know what happens next, but Vivek Ramaswamy has a great prediction, and I think he's right.
One thing I want to caution against, Sean, is exactly what happened in June. What I expect is that Donald Trump will once again run circles around Kamala Harris, just as he did with Joe Biden in that last debate. The question is that going to be good for us in winning this election or not? Because last time around, it was the catalyst for something drastic happening afterwards, which is in that case, swapping out Joe Biden as the nominee. And I think if Kamala Harris really does tank in this debate, and I think there's a decent chance that happens, I think there are strange things that could happen between now and November, because the Democrats, they have been playing this as in some ways one step ahead.
The other thing that happened whenever Donald Trump started to win, we all know what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. We know this. And every time Donald Trump gains in the polls, more indictments come. More things that are dangerous to democracy happen. Vivek Ramaswamy brought up a great point. A great point. As all of the rhinos are coming out of their cages and endorsing Kamala, The effect is not having any real major change, really major bump to Kamala's campaign. So what are they going to do next? There's typically an October surprise. What do you think that's going to be? Donald Trump's sentencing was supposed to be September 18th. They have now moved that back because some senators and congresswomen, Elise Stefanik, have opened an investigation into Judge Merchan. Think about that. The ark is getting full of rhinos, and I don't know how much more room is left.
You're suggesting that we may live through another change in candidates if she didn't have a good debate?
No, I don't think it's going to be a change in the candidates. The ballots have already been printed, but I do think that we have a machine that we're up against that has demonstrated that it is going to go to great measures to defeat Donald Trump. You trace this back over the last year and a half. You've got prosecutions. You've got civil cases. You've got extrajudicial attempts to remove him from the ballot. They told us Joe Biden was definitively going to be the nominee, then negotiated for the earliest ever presidential debate in U.S. history because they knew there was a good chance Biden would underperform. Once he did, they swapped him out.
I think that's a great point. They had that early debate so that Joe would fail. And I think all the people around him knew he would fail because they were covering up his mental capacity for the better part of 3.5 years. They put him out there, let him embarrass himself, and that was the big reason for Nancy to pull the plug, Kevorkian style, and get rid of Joe. And Joe's been on vacation now for the better part of a month on a beach in Delaware. Meanwhile, as the world burns, great soap opera that we're living in, nothing's being done. Who's actually in charge? Who is actually running things? Kamala's campaigning. Joe's on a beach. Who is running things right now? We see all this stuff happening in Israel, Palestine, Ukraine. Who is running things right now? Ask yourself that. Do you trust Fox News? Do you trust CNN? Leave a comment down below and share this video.
We've got to learn from those lessons, Sean, to say that they're still going to have many more tricks up their sleeve. So the two scenarios are either Kamala Harris overperforms. I don't expect that to happen. Or what I do expect to happen is Donald Trump to seriously defeat her in this debate as he did last time around. But don't expect that to be the end of this election. I think there's going to be more tricks left up their sleeve.
How many more tricks do the Democrats have? What is left? How many tricks do they have left? That's a great question by Vivek, and I hope you leave a comment down below about what trick you think the Democrat Party has left. One of the biggest threats to the Democrat Party is free speech, and we practice it here on this platform all the time. The Democrats are running out of tricks. They're running out of ways to silence you, silence me. What do you expect? I fully expect Kamala Harris and the Democrat Party to shut down some form of communication before the election. Play this clip, and I want you to pay attention to what she says.
He has lost his privileges, and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop.
Whoa! They're speaking to millions and millions of people without any oversight or regulation. Do you know what that's called, Kamala? That is called free speech. We're allowed to do that under the Constitution. Kamala just said it had to stop. Before the election in November, many people on YouTube, many people on other platforms are going to be shut down, silenced. Orwellian thought police are going to come knock on our door. I don't doubt it. Think about it. Share this video while you can.